everybody wants to get united. Like, what we gotta do is meet everybody on 149th Street at the bench.
Sometimes we look at graffiti and, like, we try to read it, we really do, but it's just not possible, or it's really difficult, especially depending on your skill level in this art form. So in today's video, I want to teach you guys how to read graffiti as easily as possible. Now, a little disclaimer, some of your ability to read graffiti is actually going to be dependent on how the graffiti artist performed. So your ability to read graffiti is really going to be based on how much you understand the different parts of graffiti and its anatomy. For a lot of us, especially those just getting into the art form, we don't necessarily differentiate between different parts of graffiti. We don't really differentiate between letter structure and the different parts of a letter structure versus extensions and the different parts that an extension has. So we'll see the letter R and we'll just say, hey, that's a letter R. Dope. But that kind of general breakdown may not be all that useful when looking at a more wild style piece, because we can't see the letter R, or we can't see any letter for that matter. But understanding a stem versus a bowl, or an arm versus a leg, so on and so forth, can help you identify little tiny key parts of structure that might jump out at you when looking at more technical graffiti. And once you've kind of nailed that down, then you'll be able to pull out more information from what you're looking at. So step one to reading graffiti: learn the actual letter structure itself. Learn not only the different kinds of letter structures, but also the different parts of individual letters. So that means you're going to want to learn your basic structures that look a little bit like this, and your variant structures that look a little bit like this. Put simply, these variant structures are an alternate version of your normal basic print font, and we have a video explaining variant structures right over here. And we also have a full list of variant structures you can find in our book. We've already helped thousands of people learn the fundamentals of graffiti with information that you can only find in this book, but we've also helped those very same people come into their own style and discover what they're capable of with style. We have digital copies over on our online store, theartistblock.inc. Those are ebooks, and then we have physical copies over on Amazon. Now, part of this is also going to be to understand your lettering chart and how that functions. The more you understand your baseline, your mean line, and your cap line, well then the more you'll be able to spot where certain landmarks of letters line up. For example, you're looking at a really crazy piece of graffiti and you happen to spot a rounded piece of structure that happens between the mean line and the cap line, and that rounded piece of structure comes back in at around the mean line. Well, now you know that you're probably looking at a bowl. Understanding your mean line, baseline, cap line helps you to contextualize the letters that you're looking at. Once you understand the different kinds of letters that people might be using, and once you understand the different letter segments that create a singular structure, then you can kind of go into reading graffiti a little bit more confidently. Once you understand that, you're going to want to begin to have an understanding of what people can do with a letter and the letter's limitations. Letters are capable of doing some pretty wild things. They can bend in different directions, they can contort themselves in ways that you wouldn't imagine, but at the end of the day, they still have limitations because the letter needs to represent the actual letter it's supposed to be. And the more you understand these limitations, the more you'll understand what isn't letter structure and what is letter structure. And the more you'll also understand where somebody might have went wrong when doing their more stylistic graffiti. You'll be able to look at a piece and go, all right, I see that that's meant to be the letter A, for example. Perhaps they messed up on the letter structure a bit, and you know, their letter structure is a bit destroyed, and as a result, that's not the actual letter that they intended. It happens very frequently, especially in intermediate to advanced graffiti. You'll see this all the time, where they'll use a wild style more as a way to cover up their mistakes rather than a way to emphasize style. They'll actually confuse the two, and they'll make a plethora of fundamental errors that kind of destroy their letter structure, and they'll call it a wild style. This, in all actuality, makes up most wild styles that are done in graffiti. Now that we've learned the letter structure and its limitations, we can begin to learn extensions and the anatomy of extensions. Now, this is something we talk about quite a bit here on the channel, and here on the channel we've established the formula for extensions and an actual extension's anatomy. So the anatomy of an extension is an origin, a travel distance, and a destination. And normally these three different sections of an extension can vary wildly when done on pieces, especially. When a graffiti artist, especially in wild styles, creates an extension, they'll usually differentiate those different parts of anatomy. It's not always the case. You don't have to differentiate those different parts of anatomy, but it's common to see. And let's say they do, well then you can easily look at it and say, alright, well maybe the origin is a little bit thinner, and then it starts to get wider and wider as it reaches the destination. Well then we know we're not really looking at a letter structure because the letter structure doesn't reflect that. The letter structure doesn't do that same thing because the letter structure doesn't have an origin, travel distance, and destination. Let's say say they don't change and vary the size and width of their extensions? Well, then we have to ask ourselves, how is this connecting to the structure? We see a letter segment here that might be a stem, it might be a bowl, it might be a leg, it might be something else. We've identified at least that much without identifying the full letter. This piece that we're looking at right now kind of swings off in a way that doesn't make sense for any of the letter structures. That might be an extension that we're seeing there. So now, when we're looking at advanced graffiti and you have the understanding of letter structure, its limitations, your mean line, cap line, baseline, and you understand the general anatomy of an extension, you know where to look for certain things. And you'll be able to then see, okay, we have a stem over here. What connects to that stem? How do things connect to that stem? There might be a whole lot of other stuff coming off that stem, but that other stuff may not align with how a letter structure functions, and as a result, that's when we have to look at it and go, alright, are they doing a letter distortion? Did they bend a certain box of the letter in a certain way? Yes? Alright, well then what kind of letter do we have now? What part of the structure did they bend? Maybe if your answer is no, well then now the question becomes, okay, well is that an extension? That's the typical process you'll follow when breaking down graffiti to read it. And what I recommend is you look at basic straight letters. Believe it or not, I know here on the channel, most of us already do graffiti, we could read basic straight letters, but you'll be surprised by how many brand new graffiti artists actually struggle to read very simplistic straight letters. So begin with straight letters, try to identify letter structures, which should be fairly easy to do, but also try to identify how they're distorting those letter structures, maybe with a tiny bend or a tiny bit of distortion going on with the letter structure itself. That type of stuff is good to identify, that way you can get used to seeing how those things are done. It'll help to teach you the limitations of letter structures. From there, try to identify small extensions. Usually, little straight letters will have small extensions of some kind, and these can be a great way as a bit of a gateway into understanding how extensions might function and where you might see them and how they protrude out of the letter itself. And from there, you just repeat the process. So you do the same process for pieces, you identify the distortions, you identify extensions, so on and so forth, and once you get comfortable doing that, you should be able to carry that on into wild styles. Now, there are some cases where, like I said previously, a lot of even advanced and even professional graffiti artists like to go ahead and hide their mistakes with wild styles. And anyone who's past that level has certainly done it, because it's kind of just like a phase you go through to progress even further. And in these cases, you might be mulling over that piece and you might see some letters, but it's just not right. Like, they just definitively messed up on some things. Maybe their letter structure is broken. Maybe they have way too much negative space, and as a result, their letters don't really flow in a cohesive manner. Maybe they don't have enough negative space, and it's just one glob, one mess, that as a result of that, doesn't really have any letter structures. Now, this is a fine line, everything that we're talking about right here, because there's very advanced, very well done, and fundamentally correct wild styles that also do those same things. You might look at some wild style pieces that have excessive negative space, yet it still works because they're balancing other fundamentals. You might just as easily look at some wild styles that have a big cluster of line work that looks to be just an incoherent mess, when in actuality there's a lot of definitive letter structures in there that are solidly and fundamentally drawn. So it can be difficult to differentiate those types of things, but I promise you, as you practice reading progressively more and more difficult graffiti, you will gain a hang of it, and if the fundamentals are correct, you will be able to spot those letters. Because at the end of the day, if the fundamentals are proper, the letters are definitively, unmistakably present. But dudes, that pretty much wraps up today's video. Let me know any tips you have for reading graffiti in the comments down below. And while you're down there, check out our book in the description down below. Over on theartistblock.inc, we have digital copies, with physical copies over on Amazon. It's also in Walmart as well. Now, if you got some time for some extra videos and you want to watch the best How to Do Graffiti playlist anywhere online, we got you covered right up here with more graffiti content right down here. And I'll catch you guys back here next week. Thanks for watching.